Hello and welcome everybody to the ABL Group Draw Show, beginning of the World Championship, the absolute best amateur tournament you are going to see this side of Summoner's Rift. I'm Audio Adrenaline, and joining me tonight is none other than Z and Rebel Fox to bring you the start of this momentous occasion.
Well said, Audio. I do have to say, before we get the group draw rolling, I do want to tell everyone who is here, we always appreciate any follows, any subscriptions, and any donations that come our way to this stream. It will all go directly to our production, which gives us the ability to continually give y'all a better production.
All right, well, before we get started, we are going to go over a quick breakdown of how this is going to work. So as many of you know, we're about to get into our World Championships for the ABL. Going to decide what teams are going to be slotted into what groups. There will be 4 groups that we are going to put these teams in. Rebel, how are we going to decide this?
So Audio over there is going to pull names out of a hat. We're doing Group A, B, C, D, and we're going to continue in that order until all 16 teams have been slotted into their individual division.
Yep, and we will be giving a quick breakdown of the teams as we are running through. Just a quick reminder, the teams that will be participating in the group draw are Essentia Sentinels, Conviction Esports, Crown Esports, Element 5, First Blood Marauders, Frontside Esports, Grim Legion Esports, Lakeside Gaming, Lucky Esports, Recon 5 White, Recon 5 Violet, Rise Esports, Schism Esports, Team Fish Taco, US Army Esports, and Wayne State Warriors. And without further ado, we are going to start off with the first team in Group A.
Can we get a drum roll, Z?
Nick, do you have a sound effect for that?
No. No sound effects.
Silver scrapes before we pick the first one.
All right.
Of the 2019 World Championship to go into Group A is First Blood Marauders.
Ooh.
Yay!
Yeah.
Congratulations, First Blood Marauders. We're going to take a quick look at how they got here and what they're all about.
First Blood Marauders is one of the flagship rosters of the First Blood Esports organization. This roster is led by the infamous DTS, their starting mid laner, who racked up 115 kills in Season 7 and arguably should have won the title of MVP. Adding to DTS's already explosive playstyle is their starting support, Solzer, who is known for his flashy plays and strong understanding of macro. This is the golden roster of First Blood Esports, and they are the favorite to win it all at Worlds this year.
All right, thank you very much. And that is going to be the first team in Group A. Now moving on to Group B. Going to be seeing who is going to be the first team in this one. And it is going to be the Wayne State Warriors. They're going to be our first team in Group B. Remember, we are going all the way across A, B, C, D before we go to the second teams.
All right, so let's take a look at how they got here.
The Wayne State Warriors represent Wayne State University, located in Detroit, Michigan. Their esports program is growing rapidly, and they have built a strong roster to represent WSW at ABL Worlds 2019. The team is led by their top laner, Apple Slice. He is well known in the university esports scene as a serious threat on champs like Jax and Fiora. Their on-campus fans will be anxiously watching as they make their push for glory.
All right, those were Wayne State Warriors. Rebel, what are your thoughts on them?
So it's nice to have some collegiate representation here throughout the ABL Worlds process. So seeing Wayne State here is pretty nice. We saw TiVo. I see some people in the chat. We're actually not sure which TiVo that is, but we're hoping that's Tyson Vo representing in the mid lane. Everybody knows him. Everybody loves him. They're also their top laner, Apple Slice, is really, really good player, mechanically a beast, and loves to play split push champions like Fiora, like Renekton, things like that. And they say it's not Tyson Vo. I wasn't shocked by that, but we were kind of holding out hopes.
And we did skip a little bit over First Blood Marauders from Group A, which are our first team of the group draw. it's a team we've seen a lot of. They have been a kind of brand name here in the ABL this season. Really fun to follow their pretty impressive season.
You know, and they have a lot of strength. Particularly, we saw a lot of that come out of DTS in the mid lane. He has shown an extreme prominence on a series of multiple champions, and he came over 100 kills in just Season 7 alone. And, you know, as we said, arguably, he should have maybe picked up the MVP. So I'm curious to see how a man like him is going to be playing into Worlds here.
Yeah, not to mention Salazar is their new support. He's a super aggressive support from what I've heard, so hopefully he can pick up some of the slack, help out those mid lane with some roams.
All right, well, now that we've talked about those two, let's go on to our first team of Group C, which will be Element 5. Welcome to Group C.
All right. We're going to take a quick look at Group C's first set of players in Elements 5.
Element 5 is qualified for ABL Worlds through one of the 4 wildcard spots. They are led by team owner Howler, who is no stranger to competition. He has led many rosters to success under the E5 banner and has won a number of championships in other leagues. With the entrance of Element 5 comes the return of Bishan, the ABL's Season 5 Rookie of the Split. Bishan made a name for himself when playing for EGO Esports as their starting jungler. The young all-stars coming back with a heavy-hitting roster, and they won't settle for anything but the championship.
All right, Element 5, our wild card team of the split, does mark the return of Bishan, our Season 5 MVPs. You saw there in the graphic. Really excited to see him come back to this stage.
I think everyone's excited from the ABL, learning that Bishan's actually going to come back. The team he's coming back with, too, is also really good. Element 5, pretty popular at some of these amateur levels. They have plenty of teams competing, so we're going to see some, at least a team that's more well-versed in kind of the style of play we're going to be seeing. Hopefully that means they can be super competitive.
And just to kind of focus on Element 5, they definitely have, like you said, a lot of potential. Of course, we see a lot of movement in that jungle. Very good in a lot of these games we've seen in the past here. And as well, I don't want to go into too much, but Pelicans is also, I believe, a master support player. And the guy's champion pool is as deep as the Pacific. So I'm curious to see how they're going to be playing into Group C here.
All right, well, 3 groups down, 1 group to go, gentlemen. Let's see who will be the first team to join Group D. It is going to be US Army Esports.
Ooh.
Let's take a look at who US Army are.
US Army Esports is an esports team sponsored by the United States Army. The team consists of active duty and reserve personnel. Their org was announced in November 2018 as a public outreach initiative operating out of Fort Knox, Kentucky. They're making their ABL Series debut, having qualified for the Worlds as a wild card. Their team is looking to come out with a bang and will certainly be cheered on by their fellow troops in their goal to bring home a championship to Fort Knox.
All right, another wildcard team, their ABL debut, owned by the United States Army. Pretty incredible to be having them in our league. All super excited to watch them play.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, they're not the only, I mean, we're not the only people who are excited to watch them play. Apparently, US Army, which would be expected, has quite the large following. So while we don't know particularly how they may perform on the scene here, we definitely welcome and enjoy any of the possible viewership that we do pull here onto the ABL from US Army Esports.
Yeah, I've actually seen them in a couple of other, the smaller leagues. I think maybe Phoenix Rising, they had representation. They did very well in that league as well. So I'm hyped to see how they can perform against other top tier talent here in the ABL world.
All right, with that, we're going to be rotating it back around. Going to start seeing how these groups are playing out. Let us see what that second pick in Group A is. Audio?
All right. Going along with First Blood Marauders in Group A, their first opponent will be Recon 5 Violet.
Ooh. All right, let's take a look at their profile.
Recon 5 Violet is the sister team to Recon 5 White, and they are the most successful roster to ever play under the Recon 5 banner. That is no small accomplishment, as Recon 5 White has an ABL championship under their belt. Through all the competitions they have ever entered, they have at least made it to the finals, if not won. Violet is the type of team that no one wants in their group or in a best of 5, because they can make even the best teams. Recon 5 Violet is an early favorite to win through groups, and certainly the team to watch.
Recon 5 Violet, one of the teams to watch. A lot of people have their money on this team going into the tournament to just possibly win it all. Recon 5 as an organization has just always been extremely successful. They've got 2 teams in the running this time around.
Ooh. They do. Recon 5 Violet's got talent pretty much across their roster. Specifically, though, I think Faye and Swift in that bot lane might actually end up being the best bot lane we have across all of ABL World. So that's where I'd keep my eye on if you're looking at this team.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be see how the Curious they play out. I know they've got their sister team also playing with us here, White. So it's definitely going to be kind of the competition as we see which of these 2 Recon picks is really going to be making their way down this World Series.
All right, well, with them being taken a look at, we are going to see who will be the second team to join Group B. It is going to be Wayne State Warriors' first opponents, Crowned Esports.
All right.
Crowned Esports is an org that doesn't really need an introduction. They are led by team owner Day, who instills a strong work ethic, good values, and the culture of winning in his players. Crowned has won championships at the elite level of amateur competitive and has produced some serious talent such as Blessed, Hunter, and most notably, Season 6 MVP winner, obviously, the King of the Jungle. Although their last series in the ABL ended in a heartbreaking Game 5 semifinal loss to Schism in Season 6, they still kept their heads up high, and their sights are set on Worlds.
Crowned Esports with a chip on their shoulder after their unfortunate departure from the ABL in Season 6 when they did lose that game-breaking Game 5. Still a series that all of us are going to remember and hold dear. Such a great time. But now have another chance to, make the runs as they're going to be looking for probably a deep finish in the World Championship.
I will have to say, Crowned has taken the time to work up themselves back to the position where they definitely are going to be a top contender in any of these positions, whether it be groups or knockouts. The work ethic of this team is absolutely absurd. Other than that, I am curious to see how they'll be playing through the jungle. I've heard quite a few things about the possibility with these carry junglers making quite an impact on the scene. So looking at that will definitely be interesting.
We'll keep our eyes on them, but for right now, Group C is the one we are going to turn our attentions to. Be picking the second team to go up against Element 5. It is going to be Untitled Esports. Event side, sorry. So let's take a look at them.
All right.
We're having some trouble reading our own handwriting here. Frontside Esports.
Hey.
All right, Frontside.
Apologies, Frontside.
Let's take a look at that profile now. Frontside Esports is the heart and soul of esports in Atlantic Canada. So for all the Canucks out there, you'll want to be cheering on this squad. They're known for massive comebacks in the face of adversity, but don't be fooled. The roster they've put together for ABL Worlds is as talented as any. They are led by mid laner Madshow and star jungler Almost, who's known for his vicious Kha'Zix and Rengar. The synergy between these two has been sending waves throughout the amateur scene, and FS is looking like a favorite coming into ABL Worlds.
Frontside Esports are great apologies for messing up your name. Definitely not your fault, 100%. on our production team, mainly Z.
Hey, I'm not the one reading the names out here.
Definitely someone that we are going to be keeping our eyes on.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Rebel. Take this.
You go ahead.
All right. Other than that, front side, of course, I know we've been talking a lot about these bot lanes, but there's definitely this incredible master tier support and snack size. So these teams are going to have to watch out and play kind of cautiously if you're looking to make your way through this group stage, especially in D here right now.
And not to mention, not only is there a master tier bot laner, but the entire top side of the map is loaded with talent. Mid lane, AA, Elmost, that's what we're going to call him throughout the tournament. And then even the top laner is an incredible Kled player, so you got to keep your eye on the top side of this map, despite having that master.
Well,
definitely all players have particularly preferred champions. So it's going to be kind of that team that you're really looking out for these top picks that each of these players really excel on. So it's going to be kind of curious to see how they play through being such a strong team in general. I have high hopes to see how they play through ABL Worlds.
Well, let's take a look at Group D now. Our second team to be playing is going to be Rise Esports.
Rise Esports is making their debut in the ABL. They qualified for Worlds through one of the wildcard spots and are looking like a strong favorite to win it all. The organization is run by team owner Miles and is home to Sanctus, the superstar ADC known for his crazy outplays on champs like Lucian and Caitlyn. Backing him up is his trusty support, Toxic Cat. Can this squad rise to the occasion when it counts most? History has proven. Watch out for them as they look to clean sweep their group stage.
Another wildcard team, and one I am especially excited to keep my eyes on. Sanctus down there in the bot lane is just an absolute treat to watch in all of his games. His carry potential is just through the roof, and he'll have games where, obviously, it's a complete 1v9. I mean, the rest of the team is very skilled in their own rights, but you always have to bring your eyes back down to the bot lane when you're looking at Rise.
A lot of these groups are turning out to have a big focus on the bot, but Rise in general has shown a lot of proficiency just across the board in a lot of these previous tournaments that they have participated in. So it's definitely a team that's going to be maybe knocking out some of their top contenders here as their wildcard spot.
It's a tried and tested formula for this team. We made mention that ADC is really good. They talked about Caitlyn, Lucian. I saw someone in the chat complaining about Vayne, and I agree with that. Very good Vayne player is Sank.
All right, well, we now have two teams in all of our groups, two more to go. We're recycling right back around to Group A. And our third team, representing us in ABL Worlds in Group A, alongside First Blood Marauders and Recon 5 Violet, will be Lakeside Gaming. Let's take a look at them.
Lakeside Gaming is one of the most recognized names in the competitive League of Legends scene. Every team has a story to share about their series against LSG, but there are few who can say they have gotten the best of them. Joining their roster in Season 6, MVP Yuki Bunny and his trusty support, Boom Hunter. After leaving Recon 5, this bot lane powerhouse made the move over to LSG in the offseason and is looking to usher in a new era for Lakeside fans.
All right. And we have some players here that we have seen before on Recon 5 White, actually.
Yeah, Recon 5's White X Boom Hunter is making his way onto Lakeside here. We had that transition a while ago, so it may be a bit shaky. I do see Recon 5 in this group, but I'm curious to see how he's going to arc up now being in this position at Worlds. Curious to see how that storyline may be playing out here.
Is he going to get that revenge buff going up against his former organization? Will the pressure be too much for him? We'll have to find out as the group stages progress. But looking now at Group C, our third team to be representing us is going to be Group B, apologize. Essentia Sentinels will be joining Group B.
All right, let's take a look at that team profile.
The Essentia Sentinels are the sister team of First Blood Marauders and a natural rival to Schism Esports. They made quite a name for themselves in the ABL in just a few short weeks. In the ABL Worlds Qualifier Gauntlet, they beat out Tiny Potatoes, Grim Legion, and won in Game 5 of a highly contested Schism series to lock in their spot after a miracle run. The roster is stacked with new and old talent, like veteran jungler Mike, hypercarry Samso, and a rock-steady Rough Beans in the mid lane. Watch out for Essentia as they look to bring glory to the First Blood organization.
First Blood Marauders sister team joining us here in the ABL Worlds. Gonna be another one that we have to keep our eyes on.
And, you know, they really are quite the team to keep our eyes on, making their way through the entirety of the ABL Worlds Gauntlet, going through Schism, Potato, and one other team here. They've definitely proven that they do deserve this spot here in this group, so definitely a team to watch out for.
Yeah, we call them Content Essentia for a reason. You got Content Mike constantly being aggressive. It's absolutely phenomenal to watch this team play. They're always looking for big swings. They're finding home runs all the time. They're a team to watch, certainly, after their win through the gauntlet.
All right, but now we're going to be watching Group C as we pick the third team to be joining us. It is going to be Lucky Esports.
All right, we're going to take a look at Lucky Esports in depth here.
Lucky Esports was founded with the goal to produce and develop top talent in the amateur League of Legends scene, and they have done just that. Mitchell has put together a super team for ABL Worlds, getting some serious firepower in the top and mid lane. This team may be newly formed, but they aren't really on luck, as they've been putting in work and are looking to end the 2019 competitive season with a big win at ABL Worlds.
The self-proclaimed super team coming through with Lucky Esports. They're top in the mid lane. No power to scoff at. They definitely have some strong solo laners bringing to this world championship.
Yeah, Lucky is actually one of my early favorites as a dark horse. We have strong teams coming throughout, but Lucky certainly has all of the players and all of the ELO that you can see in any op.gg to show that they are going to bring it to some of these top tier teams.
And yeah, a lot of power that we can see through Lucky right now is you've got such a good position on that mid lane with Barmithian. He makes such a great effort, as we've seen in a lot of these past tier tournaments, as such a strong control mage. So I'm curious to see how these teams are really going to match up against him.
Not to mention their logo is absolutely gorgeous.
Their logo is beautiful.
It is pretty nice.
That's the reason that they're going to go so far, is they just have that style advantage over their opponents.
That's the real tournament.
All right, let's take a look at Group D as we pick the third representative. It's going to be Schism Esports.
Ooh.
Definitely a very exciting one to watch. A name that we all know and love. Let's take a little bit more of a look at them.
Schism Esports is the most decorated, successful, and well-known organization in ABL history when it comes to finals appearances and prize winnings. They produced a lot of big-name players like Camsterdam, D-Loon, Ikea, Gaudier, Dax, and Cool. When ABL fans look back years from now, they will refer to the early days of the ABL as the SKZ era, and rightfully so. They're entering ABL Worlds with veterans Jacob, NKDA, and Obelisk as the pillars of their starting roster, and they're looking to continue the SKZ legacy.
One of the most decorated and well-known organizations that the ABL has ever produced. Schism going to be looking to make a really great run here at Worlds. They always have that factor of, even when they aren't doing well, you still think in the back of your mind, but it's Schism. They can still win, right?
Oh my gosh. You know, that's definitely a thing you're going to have to worry about if you're up against Schism. Whether or not you think you're making your position onto the victory, Schism just always has a way of making their way back in. And a lot of that, I don't want to touch on it too much, but it does come from a good potential from that bot lane. I know we have some favorites here in the ABL, Nikita being someone that we have discussed multiple times again and again, but he goes to show how strong this team really is.
Yeah, not to mention, I thought during their run in the gauntlet, it was just the finals, but I thought Your Nurse really stuck out as a prime player on this team as well. So I really liked, I want to see how he advances then.
All right. Well, now we have gone 3 teams in every single group. So we're going to be cycling back around and choosing our final team, groups A, B, C, and D, to round out this group draw. And to finish off Group A, we are going to have Grim Legion Esports.
A team we have seen before in the ABL, but let us take a look at that profile.
Grim Legion Esports made their ABL Series debut in Season 7 and had a disappointing start to the season. Although they managed to make it to playoffs, they were knocked out in the quarterfinals by Elysium. They got a second chance to play at Worlds when they qualified to run the gauntlet. However, winning was not in the cards for them that day, and they were knocked out in round 2 by the Essentia Sentinels. Things looked grim for GLE until they were given the opportunity to attend Worlds by taking another team's vacant spot. This looked to be Grim Legion's redemption arc, as they are coming into previous performances in the rearview mirror and Worlds in their crosshairs.
Grim Legion, the team of second chances, have been knocked out of the running for Worlds a couple of times now, but as we said, a vacant spot has given them another chance. Will they be able to make the best of it this time around, or is their unlucky streak going to continue?
Ooh, there definitely is that kind of redemption arc on the table for Grim Legion Esports, and you'll have to see how they play through this. They, like you said, have been given multiple opportunities to make their way here onto this stage, and we've given them one more chance as they make their way into this groups with the team that they have put together. We have to see how much they really want that prize.
Yeah, of course, Grim Legion has the unfair advantage of ABL casting buff because our boy Prophet is in the mid lane for Grim Legion. So look out, Group A coming for you.
Has that insider knowledge. Hopefully he doesn't take too much of an advantage of it. But now, moving on to Group B. Rounding out the group, we are going to have Conviction Esports.
Yeah, we got to take a quick look at Conviction before we get to talking about it.
Conviction is a strong organization that fields teams in games like Overwatch, Hearthstone, and Fortnite, but their flagship team is their League of Legends roster. They've competed in almost every notable competitive league in the amateur scene and have consistently placed in the top 3. The team is led by owner Nanibus, who provides his players the foundation to develop their skills, achieve their goals, and ultimately win. The team has had a lot of success with notable players like Jacob and Zila. Their biggest pickup in the offseason was when they acquired season champion Dorjan to the team as their starting jungler. He's looking for the back-to-back, and Conviction is just the squad he needs to get it done.
Conviction Esports, a name that is known all across the esports scene, not just in League of Legends, but one of their strongest esports, one of their strongest teams is going to be joining us here for the Worlds.
Yeah, Conviction is definitely a team. I know you just talked about it in these several tournaments, but they have consistently placed within the top 3 in most tournaments that they have participated in, so they have definitely earned their spot and position here at this Worlds.
All right, well, moving on to Group C, we have 2 teams left to draw into their respective groups. 50-50 chance here for these 2 teams. And joining Group C, we are going to have Recon 5 White. Let's take a look at Recon 5's second team as they join Group C.
Recon 5 is the 3rd most successful org in ABL history in terms of prize winnings. They are known for producing some highly talented players such as Moody, Yuki Bunny, and Sindillion, to name a few. In their debut season, Season 6, they managed to shut down the defending champions and win it all. They are led by Pretty Boy, one of the most passionate and committed team owners in the scene, and he wants what is best for his players. They hold the league record of 26-game win streak. No team has ever even come close to that. R5 is looking to be a big favorite for ABL Worlds this year, especially after they picked up Tilted in the offseason as their starting mid laner.
Our defending ABL champions and the holder of so many records in the league, Recon 5 White, is going to be one of the teams to beat coming into Worlds.
Yeah, Recon 5 White looks super strong across the board. They're a super talented team in ABL series last split, and then they upgrade their mid lane in the offseason, bring in Sindillion into the ADC position. I'm excited to see how the changes affect.
Yeah, all these players are definitely some of the most talented that I have seen in the amateur scene. And like you said, I am curious to see how Sindillion is going to be making that rotation now going to bot lane. It's definitely going to be something interesting as he has performed consistently in the mid lane for quite a long time. So maybe it's that extra little new Recon 5 buff. They're going to get an extra 20+ win victory streak, you know?
I'm also waiting for Recon 5 White, Tanzo's dad, to show back up on stream after dark for what seems like a few months now.
Very true.
Tanzo's dad, will you come out of the woodworks to support the team? But looking on now to Group D, there's only one team left that can be drawn, but we're going to pick them out anyway. Drum roll. Congratulations, Team Fish Taco, the final representative of ABL Worlds 2019, going to be joining Group D alongside US Army Esports, Rise, and Schism.
Let's take a look at that profile.
Team Fish Taco had a good start in Season 7, but the middle of their regular season was plagued with challenges and tough losses. They managed to pull it together in Week 7 to barely secure themselves a playoff berth, beating out teams like Polar Ace and No Fear Esports for that last postseason spot. However, they were knocked out by returning champs Recon 5 in the quarterfinals. Luckily, their performance all throughout 2019 in League DS won them a first-round invitation to ABL Worlds. Getting knocked out of playoffs early has its advantages, as TFT has had a lot more time to rebuild their roster, start practicing, and make a serious push to win it all.
All right, Team Fish Tacos, one of the fan favorites in ABL season this last season, but now drawn into Group D alongside those three other teams. We have finished our group draw, so let's take a look at the results.
All right, looking at each group here, Group A, B, C, and D, we have all four teams finally coming into the position here that they will be playing through in our group stage. I know we didn't specify before, but it is very obvious that top two teams here in each of these groups will be making their way to the end of this tournament as we go into the position of knockout stage.
And in Group A, we have First Blood Marauders, Recon 5 Violet, Lakeside Gaming, and Grim Legion Esports. Group B will have Wayne State Warriors, Crowned Esports, Essentia Sentinels, and Conviction Esports. Group C will have Element 5, Frontside Esports, Lucky Esports, and Recon 5 White, while Group D will be featuring US Army Esports, Rise Esports, Schism Esports, and Team Fish Tacos. What are our initial thoughts, gentlemen, on some of these groups?
So just off of initial impressions from what happened in the groups or the selection process, Group C looks really strong. Recon 5 White's going to come out swinging. I think Lucky's going to come out swinging. Element 5 and Frontside, certainly nothing to scoff at. So you have to win every single game. It's going to be a dogfight for who gets out of group.
So are you saying that Group C is going to be our group of death here? Is that going to be our most difficult group for these teams? Or do we have something else, maybe something developing in Group A? I know we've got First Blood Marauders and Grim Legion, who's definitely clawing its way towards that victory. Recon 5 sister team Violet is also going to be in the position of that group. So I definitely think Group A can be one of those teams you have to watch out for. A lot of talented players in general there.
I am excited to look at Group A, the matchup between Marauders and Violet specifically. I think those are some of the strongest teams in this tournament, and they should definitely make it out of their groups. Does feel to me like there is a little bit of a gap there then next to Lakeside Gaming and then Grim Legion, who, like we said, definitely on their redemption arc coming through here. They have missed their qualification for Worlds a couple times over, just getting in barely through that vacant spot to come through. I would have to agree with Rebel, though. Group B is looking extremely strong to me. Crowned Esports going up against Conviction, and then Essentia, who swept our gauntlet, and then Wayne State Warriors, obviously. I think this is probably the strongest group that we see so far, although all of these groups have at least one or two teams that you really have to watch out for.
The one question mark, I think, to me is also Group D. U.S. Army Esports, Rise Esports, Schism had a little bit of a redo of their roster. We saw them at the end of the gauntlet, but for the most part, we haven't seen a lot of these teams for a little while. So the question is, how can they match up against each other? We don't have tons of information on them to talk about them so far.
Well, I will tell you, if we're looking at Group D, we do, of course, have our winning team here from Schism Esports. Definitely one of the strongest teams ABL has seen in the past. Definitely going to be one of the top contenders, but that's no shying point that Rise is also equally, if not as good as Schism. Of course, we do have one of our favorites, Team Fish Taco, or as my co-caster Noodle definitely likes to say, Team Fish Noodle, of course. They definitely are a good team, but I do want to point out that Team Fish Taco definitely towards the end of Season 7 showed a little bit of weakness, and they kind of went on the decline. I know I went through and I actually did quite a bit of statistical analysis and came through with an ELO chart that showed how much they actually went down in position. So I'm curious to see if some of those faults have been fixed. They definitely have a potential to get out of Group D, that's for sure. All these teams, as we look into Worlds, are definitely have earned the position that they are in currently, but I am curious to see if those faults have really been rectified and played on.
All right, well, now that we've talked a little bit about the groups, we do have an exciting announcement. There was a contest in this group draw show. One viewer was randomly selected for a mystery prize giveaway by Zohan, our general manager, and the winner of that mystery prize getaway is going to be I Am Frank. Congratulations. You can go ahead and DM Zohan789 for more details on your prize and how to collect it.
All right, gentlemen, is there any last thoughts possibly on any of these groups? Anything you want to kind of lay down on the law before we really take this one out of here?
I definitely just got to say that this, I think these groups came out about as well as we could have expected them. We don't have any major mismatch. There are some groups, like we talked about, Group B being that group of death, have a lot of strong teams in there. But I think, other than that, we see some pretty evenly matched teams across the board. And so this should be a really exciting groups stage to kind of, gauge the strength of these teams going into playoffs.
Yeah, the dispersion of talent among all the groups was really, really nice. You made mention earlier which one is the group of death per se. I don't think we even have a group of death, one where it's just all four of the top talent teams are stuck against each other. I really think there's a good dispersion among, and everybody's got a chance of getting out.
You know what? Speaking of dispersion, I do want to touch on it a little bit. We do have so many sister teams competing here in this tournament. One that really draws my attention, of course, is Group A and Group C's Recon 5 White and Violet. And given the way that this tournament will be played out, we don't know how long or if possible if these two teams will ever face, but that's definitely a storyline you may have to watch out for here on the ABL, as well as looking at teams such as First Blood Marauders and some of their sub-academy teams here as well playing in. So I'm curious to see how these matchups are going to work, especially when you're playing against a team where you guys are almost family coming from the same place. But of course, one will have to take it all. So the competition will be hot no matter what.
It absolutely will. This is going to be a Worlds to remember, our inaugural World Championship. Thank you to everybody who came out to watch the group show. We hope you enjoyed. Remember, if you did like it and want to support us, you can tip, donate, follow us on Discord and the Twitch channel as well. But that is going to be us wrapping it up here tonight. Thank you so much to everybody that came out. and make sure to follow us for the rest of ABL Worlds.